I keep seeing that's making me think Lightning Mage build again, dude. Double your shock, energy shield, stacking, stack mana to get more damage, bonus lightning damage. Okay, and then I have a monkey. And then Path of Exile, meanwhile, is posting, hey, have you seen this? You know, you just cash it literally everywhere. That's what I'm dealing with here. What's your expectations for this server come launch?
Oh, DM. It's not my first rodeo, man. I told everyone on my stream, don't take the day off. I will form a complete backup plan for what I will be playing when we cannot play.
Every single game that I've been extremely hyped for has had server-related issues like 100% of the time on launch day. Data mining just feels like an arms race because as soon as data mining is out, that's when the build guide videos really actually start. If people math the game out before it's already done, I'm going to be kind of sad. So I'm pretty sure over the rest of this podcast, you're going to watch me sit here and actually get plowed by these birds. You would think it looks bad right now, and then it just goes from bad to worse. Good morning. Nice to see all y'all. We got a lot to talk about today. Also, there was some more footage shown from the Path of Exile official channel that we're going to look at. And it looks like maybe the build that people know me for the most. I'm not talking about my shield crush, no DPS god. I'm talking about the one that actually did something. Palpatine's might be back on the menu, boys. We'll talk about that in just a moment. This is probably, maybe biggest news of the day. Arguably, maybe second biggest. We'll look at this. This is Path of Exile 2, Ball Lightning, Archmage, and Sigil of Power teaser. Right off the bat, we have slow-moving projectile that repeatedly shoots bolts of lightning at nearby enemies. So it's going out, it's zapping at people around it. 9% crit, hits enemies in range every 0.2 seconds, so 5 times a second. 750% more chance of shock, so you're stacking shock. Fire beams at targets within 1.8 meters, 1 in 19 damage. What's Archmage do? So Archmage is something that we used when we were doing our Palpatine build. Remember our unlimited power build? The whole concept was stack as much magic as we could, use Archmage. So this is a buff, 5% of damage as lightning damage for each 100 max mana you have. Now you could basically use, and spells cost an additional of your max mana, you could basically use Archmage, but also maybe stack Mind over Mana. I mean, hopefully you're not killing yourself with it. But Mind over Mana seems like it'd be quite good too if you're literally mana stacking. Wild Shards here. Supported skills have 20% chance to fire an additional 8 projectiles in a circle. So that's what's happening when you see a bunch of them. He's hitting the 1 and 5 to do like a shitload more of the orb. I thought it was something tied to the dodge or something. That's actually pretty crazy. Look at all the balls. Okay, what is going on here? Sigil of Power. Grants a stage when you spend a total of 50% of your max mana while in the area. Buff grants 14% more spell damage per stack. Holy. 1 second between gaining stages. Sigil radius is 3 meters. 11.9 seconds. Okay, Chiming Staff, level 20 Sigil of Power, 26% of damage as extra lightning damage. So you're straight up getting like what the minions get. That's actually kind of crazy. 119% spell damage, 101 max mana, plus 5! Plus 5? What the hell, dude? Level of all lightning spell skills, 14% increased crit strike, 17% crit spell damage bonus. I mean, look at that shit, dude. It's going everywhere. That looks good. Dude, the sound effect sounds like juicy. It sounds like plasma or something. You know, it's a good game when you can't decide what class you want to start. I know. So I've gone back and forth between what class I want to start at least 3 times. I started like Warrior Giga Chad, obviously. Then I saw the Chronomancer, and I'm thinking, Chronomancer Mage looks disgusting. Like, it honestly looks really fun. Looks disgusting. And then I saw the Blood Mage with maybe like the strength stacking, and you get the overflow of HP, and the strength stacking gives you HP, and then, you know, HP gives you crit damage, and I'm like, okay, what if you go like a melee Blood Mage? Sounds like fucking badass. And then Gimling Legionnaire, with the quality of the gems and the max res, is like, Gimling Legionnaire just seems like a sweaty try-hard class. So it's like, I keep going back and forth between each one of these classes I want to play, dude. What's your guys' take about this? You have here, the pre-download is starting. Maybe we will get data mines with full skills and ascendancy trees soon. Data mining, WRL. Here's the thing. If there was like early access and all this shit, okay, like who cares? The dams would be broke, but the dam's kind of not like broke right now. If they want to put up like the passive trees or something, sure. But if people start like, hey, there's like, okay, you know, there's a hidden lever you pull that gives this item, and they data mine like a literal entire route. If I start seeing paste bins that have like the entire route already dictated, then it'll be annoyed. Will you look at data mine stuff? Only like passive skill trees. If there's stuff related to like all the bosses or shit, like I'm not good. I would like to know all the ascendancy choices possible. Yeah, I wouldn't mind like seeing the skill trees, like passive point stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like if they actually do like basically leaking, hidden secrets, all the uniques, all the items, all the affixes, percentage drop rates, like if people math the game out before it's already done, I'm going to be kind of sad. Looks like we might have a chat with our boy Rax right now. Let's see if Raxarino Cappuccino's ready. What I'll do is I'll put some footage in the background so you guys can watch me struggle with my footage here.
Looks like you're getting murdered by Roas there. That brings back nightmares.
I get slaughtered. I pushed all the way through the Act 2 like immediately, and then I get dumpstered like pretty much the entirety of Act 2. I think you're going to see that there's this really cheesy boss in Act 2 where they have like a boss arena. You're going to see it when there's a bunch of corpses, and they kind of bait you in with like gold coins, etc. So you like run in there thinking it's loot, and then they have 2 yellow mobs that are like kind of boss mobs, but they're yellow mobs that can have random affixes, obviously. The one I spawned with is like haste aura plus they heal the other one, and then the next one was like double RF and lightning and shit. So you can I think people are going to lose a lot of hardcore. I'm assuming you're not playing hardcore, because from what I'm seeing, almost nobody is playing hardcore that I have seen.
So I'm definitely not going hardcore, and I love the idea of going hardcore eventually. One thing for me, which I think is at this point not true for hardly any Path of Exile creators, is I have never played the game. I haven't played it. And actually, on top of that, I really haven't watched really any gameplay. This is some of the first gameplay I've really seen other than the ones like in the actual announcements. I have not sat down and watched anybody like play through Acts 1 through 3. I am going in absolutely raw here, but I never get to do that anymore. I think it's going to be so fun for me to experience that, but it'll quickly convert from that to trying to be a scholar and a student of the game, and then we'll be blasting right away. So hardcore for me, I think, is a later thing.
So what's the first thing for you? Where are you playing at? Do you have an idea of what you're going to play on launch, or are you kind of just going to raw dog it? You're going to go in and pick it as you go?
I'm 100% sure that I'll probably beat the entire game with all 12 ascendancies. I was going to let chat pick because it really doesn't matter to me. I'll just get through them all. But Alex, the leader of Maxwell, I'm sure you know him. He's very adamant that I cannot let chat pick, and I must let him pick. I chatting with him last night. I'm like, well, okay. Wait, then I guess.
Why does he want to pick? I thought at first I was like, this is based. Like he's going to tell you play what you want to play. Don't let the chat influence your experience. This game's once in a lifetime. You got to play it for yourself. And I was going to be like Giga Chad, but then he wants to pick it.
No, he's saying he's picking, and there is no other option. I say, oh, okay. Well, I mean, if that's the way that it is, I don't know exactly what he's going to pick. It sounded like he was maybe leaning toward mercenary, but okay. I'll play anything, man. It all sounds good. This boss is kicking your ass, by the way.
Oh, this is the one I was talking about, the double Roas, or whatever they are. It's RNG, so you walk in to like get the loot, and then GGG is a gigantic fucking troll. So what they do is they spawn like 2 giga elites on you, and the affixes are random. So this first one, it's one guy like healing the other guy, and then he has haste aura, and of course my moves take 3.5 years to cast because I'm like a slow ass 2-handed warrior rolling mace, and for some reason I decided not to get any attack speed at all. So every time I cast my move, I'm getting knocked out of it. So I'm pretty sure over the rest of this podcast, you're gonna watch me sit here and actually get plowed by these birds, because you'd think it looks bad right now, but just wait. I'm getting consistently more and more frustrated. I'm pretty sure in this footage at some point here, you actually see me just AFK and wait to die so I can reroll the affixes and try again. And then it just goes from bad to worse. It actually gets worse on the next one. But this is a pretty hilarious, but there's a few of these which are kind of extremely troll bosses.
So I haven't actually played this game, but this actually seems like something that is up my alley, because a lot of my thought processes on fights like this, for example, like chat was, oh yeah, I see it. Okay, it is the different affixes,
I get shit on immediately.
That's even worse. So I feel like I'm going to be pretty strong in situations like this, because just like with Elden Ring, I didn't look up any spoilers. I went in random directions. I used the weapons that I had, but once I found any way to game the system, like once I had Bloodhound Fang. Am I speaking your language? You played Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
So the moment I get something like that, and the moment that I'm able to bleed at range, Like my number of deaths went down exponentially because I'm really good at like cheesing stuff. And once I got my blasphemous blade, people were furious on my millennia kill. So with stuff like this, I feel like I'm going to be able to find a class where I'm just going to, I don't care if it's a 10-minute fight. Like I have no shame, but I'll just I'll kite these stupid ass birds around all day long. But that righteous fire bird, that's going to throw a wrench in my plan. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you walk into that in hardcore? Like, how do you continue?
Okay, so basically we are getting to the crux of why I asked you about hardcore earlier. So in the Talkative Try interview, he specifically asks him, are like one shot's going to be the thing? How's the balance in like some of these mobs later on in the game? Essentially, they don't think it's balanced in the late game, and it's absolutely going to have some like crazy mobs. So everyone's reaction I saw from that was immediately all the hardcore plans went out the windows for some people, because I don't think that hardcore, once you get to maps, is going to be very, if at all, forgiving. Like it's going to be very brutal. So we're going to see probably most, if not everyone, run like softcore, check out the game, learn the affixes, etc., then reroll hardcore. That kind of seems like the thing.
Zoom out here and think about it. Think about the situation at hand. Would you like Grinding Gear Games to make Path of Exile 2 to where you would feel comfortable as a new player just waltzing through the game on hardcore?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the fact that you're on your first playthrough, when you get to the end game and there's going to be challenging shit that they are promising you beyond belief that you're going to get crushed, to me is more of a sign of a good game than a bad one. You should have to build up some mastery in the game before you would think about being successful in hardcore. There's a big slice of the pie that genuinely find games like Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 challenging. So when I'm watching you play this and almost every single like trash mob is ambushing you and every hit is hitting you for 50% of your damage, I am hoping that Grinding Gear Games has put in a method for people to, if you want to stay in farm levels and build up some gear and build up some levels, that you can actually get to a power level where you can kind of waltz through this stuff. That's probably the biggest worry that I have, because some of the more casual gamers have tremendous anxiety when you are this heavily pursued, right? It's kind of like the Fortnite effect, where when you're kind of new at Fortnite, when someone is openly willing to challenge you, they're plunger toward you, they shockwave grenade toward you, and you just don't have the confidence in your character, you don't even like properly fight back. You just run away scared and just die anyway. So I think that's probably where my biggest worry is like in the super casual player base than in like the really hardcore players.
I felt like Act 1 is going to be what I'm going to call the great filter, dude. I think a lot of people that start, in particular with Melee, when they play Act 1, if they immediately feel that pushback, because the game pushes back from like level 1, you're going to see some people that are just like, this game's not for me, and some complainers from the beginning. By the time you're starting into Act 2, like by the time I had a weapon, like 2 or 3 pieces of gear, and like 1 or 2 sub bosses behind, it starts ramping enough where, you know, you get to this point where it's like it's not so bad. Like some of the mobs are still pretty hard, but you pretty quickly get out of that. But I think the first hour is going to filter some people.
I've been having a lot of fun learning to lower my PoE 1 campaign time. And I'll tell you, I believe, I would say 80% of the run is how you do Act 1. There's a huge difference between clearing Act 1 fast and clearing Act 1 fast where you can continue into Act 2 fast. Every single time I can run A to B in Act 1 and kill the boss at a very low time. But almost all of those runs, being a noob, my gear will be dog shit, and when I go to Act 2, I'm going to have a miserable time. My resists are terrible, da-da-da-da-da. So kind of like you said, what you just described has kind of been my experience trying to speed run PoE Act 1. Once you build like a mastery of what do you do in the very beginning to get power early that can carry forward into the next act, then I think people, when they learn these strategies, will start having a lot more fun.
I think you're 100% right, because that was basically my experience in this playthrough. I was sick of Act 1, because I had played it, a bunch of times at this point. I'm like, I want to get to Act 2. I hadn't had a chance to like get to the final Act 2 boss. My whole goal for this was get to the final Act 2 boss. That's what I wanted to do. And so I basically sped run through Act 1, and I was like 3 or 4 levels down by the time I got to Act 2, like zones. And I was getting absolutely plowed, and I had to spend time. It actually ended up slowing me down in the long run, like having to spend time getting the armor right, etc. I hear more in about an hour or two in this footage. So I was continually getting plowed right before I get to the final Act 2 boss. There's this caravan, and I got stuck there for 3 full levels trying to get from one side to the other. So yeah, I think that practice you did in PoE 1 is probably going to translate pretty well to Path of Exile 2 as well. And I don't know if you had a chance to see this, but other than Steam Deck, which is number 1 for the most so, Stalker 2 is number 2. Path of Exile 2 currently, as it stands, number 3 on the top sellers right now. They are selling an absolute shitload. What's your expectations for this server come launch?
Oh, DM. What a question. I mean, it's not my first rodeo, man. I told everyone on my stream, don't take the day off. Don't take the day off. If you want to, take Monday and Tuesday off or something. I, as a person who has lived on planet Earth for more than a single day, am expecting tons and tons and tons of connection problems. So much so that I will form a complete backup plan for what I will be playing when we cannot play. If the game launches and I don't lag and I have less than 1 hour of downtime in the first 24 hours, I will consider that a miracle.
Yeah, completely agree. The 6th is probably not going to be playable at all, and we're all going to be stalling exactly like the D4 Vesto of Hatred release. In fact, speaking of servers not working, this morning I woke up at 2 a.m. because Old School RuneScape had their league launch this morning, or was supposed to. And my plan was me and Pox were going to no-life this, and then I'm going to stream PoE 2 chats for about 4 hours. And I'm going to go back, Raven to Pox, go back to no-lifing Old School RuneScape launch. But I got up at 2, and it was 6 a.m., and the servers were still not up. And I thought, you know what, dude, I'm going back to bed. So I went back to bed to sleep for a few hours. But I have every single game that I've been extremely hyped for has had server-related issues 100% of the time on launch day. There hasn't been a single game, with the exception of maybe Brither Shores actually wasn't that bad. It was a little bit of an issue, but it was solved fairly quickly. The rest of them were multiple hour delays. One
thing that I think is unfortunate is it's not just MMOs, it's also the ARPG genre. The genre itself has not really evolved much. So a lot of people would consider Diablo 2 not only one of the first ARPGs, but also potentially the peak of ARPGs. We'll see if PoE 2 can reverse this narrative. But if you take Diablo 2 and you point at, and you're going to point to some genre defining things that have undoubtedly made the genre better, it's PoE definitely has done a great job of advancing the end game. You got no doubt about that. And maybe you could say Last Epoch did a great job of evolving the skill system where every single skill has its own tree. It's both has a lot of depth and it's very accessible at the same time. So that's a little bit of an evolution. And then I'm sitting here trying to think about other major revolutions to the ARPG genre. It's kind of hard to imagine, but is there really no way to innovate on the genre? And I don't know, maybe there isn't, but we really haven't seemed to figure it out yet.
Sometimes I wonder if what I actually want is innovation in a genre or just like a remastering of what I already previously liked. No Rest for the Wicked comes to mind. I liked that game, but it feels like a totally different game. Like they were trying to reimagine ARPGs in Jimro, and it just felt like a completely different genre. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's when I play that, it's like I feel like a lot like that's a fun game, but it felt closer to Elden Ring than it did like Diablo, like PoE, like type of game. You know what I mean? And so sometimes I see people that do like the very different take on it for the sake of different, and I'm thinking more MMOs with this, to be honest, because I see MMOs are always trying something wacky because they kind of have to, because the genre itself hasn't been changed in so long. But it's just, I feel like if someone just made a really good return to the standard MMO, do you think it would do well, or do you think the audience has moved past like enjoying what they previously did and now actually need it to be significantly different in order to enjoy it, or are we just seeing lower quality versions that aren't, up to today's tech?
So the two parts there. The first part about No Rest for the Wicked, love the game. In fact, I really only had one complaint about the game and how I played it. I agree, it felt like a different genre, almost felt more like Dark Souls or anything.
Yeah.
My complaint was I started the game like 2 seconds into the game with like a 12 DPS weapon, and then in like the middle game I had like a 16 DPS weapon, and then in the end game I was farming with a 30 DPS weapon, and I was trying to upgrade it to like a 36 DPS weapon. Now, I don't want it to be Diablo, like Diablo, where we're hitting for trillions and trillions, but the upgrade, like the amount of times that I meaningfully upgraded my gear in my full playthrough of No Rest for the Wicked was almost zero. And that did not feel good. That was the part that was like the most disappointing to me, was I really didn't feel like I was getting better stuff at all as I went further in the game. That's like the biggest bummer for me. When on your second question, where if people just went back, I think the question was if the people went back to the roots of MMO and re-released that and did really well, would that be something that people would gravitate to? And I think we can answer that with just empirical evidence. I cannot tell you how many times since 2005 I have heard that this MMO is going to be the WoW killer. This MMO is going to be the WoW killer. It has never even remotely, even an ass hair, come even close to being true. You can't kill WoW by trying to imitate WoW and do it better than them. They've already done it, and they still even do it better than other people just by re-releasing what they first had. I think you are going to need an innovation to even try to take it down, and I haven't seen anything come even close to doing it.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I'm going to wrap up the conversation with one more. We'll bring it back to PoE 2 here for a second. Favorite thing that you are looking forward to do? Like, what is the one thing when you think of, okay, Path of Exile 2 is coming out, what are you most excited to focus on? Is it like pinnacle boss, try to get there? Is it getting to level 100? Is it gear finding? Is there anything in particular you can think that sort of stands out that you're mostly excited by?
I mean, I have an end game in a game. That's Christmas morning and Thanksgiving and Halloween and my birthday all wrapped into one. I just want an end game. The thing I'm most excited for is doing stuff. I need a game where I can sink a ton of hours into and still feel like I'm progressing in not only within the end game content itself, but actually pumping up my character. I need challenges. I need mega rewards. I need things to strive for. What about you, man? What are you looking for?
My favorite part remains the same of the game. Since I tested it the first time, the bosses. Pretty much doing the bosses are the funnest part. I like pounding my head against an obstacle, refusing to leave until I kill it. And I know you kind of can't do that once we get to maps. It's, you get one shot, you die, it's over. But getting through the campaign has been very enjoyable. Also looking forward to watching the hardcore death clips from people that go in blind hardcore, like the Ultra Giga Chads, to try to beat the game blind first time. That's going to make for some entertaining content as well. So I think the live streaming, it's going to be really fun. I know the game is already really fun. And, the end game I'm not worried about because it's Path of Exile. So I know it's going to be there. But I think I'm mostly looking forward to the boss fights, to be quite honest.
I'm looking forward to the challenge, man.
9 more days to go, brother. 9 more days. Thanks for taking the time to chat.
Always a pleasure, man. GG's. Have a great night.
All right. Cheers, brother. Good talking to you. The man, the myth, the legend, the blue hoodie himself incarnate. All right. Look at this site. Skill gems. Here, let me look at this. Arc. Yo, Arc's back in the menu, but holy shit, this website has ads. Arc is back on the menu, boys. What class you playing, Gore? Okay, so we have Ancestral Warrior. We have Arc. We have Archmage. Bro, we could literally do Palpatine again. Dude, Palpatine's back because of, where is it? Which one of these is it? This one. Yeah, this one. This one that we've watched like a million times already today. This shit is the one that's making me want to maybe arguably not play Warrior. But I think I'm just going to stick with my Titan. But this shit looks badass, honestly. This makes me want to play Sork, but I can't do it. I can't get baited. We have to stick to the Titan. We got to stay the way of the Mankey. Okay, Ancestral Warrior, raise the totem, use socketed mace skills. We can literally spam mace skills. Did you see Dreamcore's latest video showing the intelligence section of the key? That would actually be good to see. I haven't seen that. Can you post that one?
And with Great Wolf's Howl, you can ignore the cooldowns of your war cries. Let all that anger out.
I gotta say, I love this tradition. I love this tradition of PoE videos starting with memes quite often. All right, Dreamcore already gets a like from me. Let's contribute a good comment. I actually highly recommend going, if you're interested in like, if you want to deep dive in Theorycraft and shit like that, I would watch Dreamcore. Met him in person. Not only is he a fantastic bloke, but like his videos are basically going over all the pageantry. He spent a lot of time doing the nitty gritty shit that like, I just straight up didn't want to do because I just wanted to play the game. Like, but I'm glad he did because he actually goes over like all the nodes and shows all. He was smart about what he chose to do with his recording time. Very smart. These are good videos to look at here.
Endless Blizzard is at the top of the tree, right at the outer edge, +1 to the level of all cold skills. That's going to be extremely valuable for a lot of Sork builds. And there's also Psychic Fragmentation, which grants a 24% chance for spells to fire.
Wait, 24% chance plus the wild, what was it called? Wild card or wild shard or whatever that does 8 more. Could you do 10 additional projectiles? Holy shit. Meanwhile, me as a warrior, it's just like Unga Bunga hit for 5% more damage on the head. And then it's like, the spells are like, freeze time! Spells go fucking everywhere, teleport! And then meanwhile, I'm like, my stick hit hard. Spell guy over here, go back in time, heal to where you were, recover everything without having to use a life potion, double your shock so that way you're actually stacking more multipliers, energy shield stacking on everything, actually use mana as life, stack mana to get more damage, bonus lightning damage. Okay, and then I have a monkey. Runs into a tree. Am I baiting myself here?
Pure Power is right at the top of the tree and grants 2%.
Dude, they have more lightning damage per intel. You can intel stack mana. Oh, man, dude. They're trying. I swear GGG is trying to get me to change my build at the last second. They want me to run Archmage again, dude. They want me to bring back the unlimited power. They're saying, do it. Basically, that's I keep seeing shit that's making me think Lightning Mage build again, dude. Join us, DM. It's not too late. What up, Lance? Lance, is that what you're doing? I'm telling you, the more I see, the more it's like I feel like they're trying to make me go Sork. Meanwhile, I'm asking like the guy who's actually making the goddamn game, hey, could you tell me what the monkey actually does? He's like, I don't know. It runs into a tree, and then there's like, hey. And then Path of Exile, meanwhile, is posting this shit onto it, which says, hey, have you seen this? You know, you just cast shit literally everywhere. That's what I'm dealing with here.
Now, the fact that this is lightning damage is crazy considering we know that Intelligence is going to grant a lot more mana in PoE 2. It grants 2 mana per int. But if you want more reason to stack Intelligence and mana, look no further than Arcane Intensity, which grants 3% increased spell.
Dude, it's so obvious. It's like in my face. It's right there. Lightning's back on the menu, boys. It's across the entire tree. Dude, GGG is throwing a wrench in my fucking plan, dude.
Eldritch Battery is changed in PoE 2, and it now...
Wait, what the f is that? So you can stack Energy Shield that goes to mana. You can mind over mana, so all your HP is now mana. You can ramp the out of the Energy Shield. You can get damage for everything from mana and intel. They're trying to kill off my warrior hype. Oh no. I mean, this shit looks ridiculous though, honestly. Like increased lightning per intel, increased Energy Shield, but reduced max mana seems like dog shit. Why would we want that? Damage penetrates fire. Who cares about that? Who cares about minions, honestly? Stop showing me minion shit. No one cares about minions. Increased max life, mana, and energy shield. Yo, this one's nutty. Life, mana, and energy shield. I guess it doesn't matter that much if you're only mind over matter scaling off of mana literally anyway. Okay, hold on. We have to get safe here because he's actually trying to kill me here. Looks like I haven't watched this one all the way through. He's trying to kill my hype for Unga Bunga. We've got to recover because as it stands now, I'm kind of... He's hyping me on mage like too much. And we've got to bring back the warrior. Dodge roll cannot avoid damage, takes 30. See, I saw this one in my playthrough and I thought like, I kind of don't want this. Don't care about this one either. Okay, so far, the last one is like pog. All of the mage stuff is like, holy shit, that's awesome. Holy shit, that's awesome. Holy shit, that's awesome. And now we're in the warrior one. We're 2 minutes in, and the first 2 ones, I'm like, I don't want those.
Check out this one, Cull the Hordes. 25% increased culling strike threshold.
Okay, so, but it's 5% for bosses, so 25% more from that. Like, why would I want to effectively do 1% more damage with that big of an investment? Just make my other shit good. Like, I don't know. That seems like, that seems dog shit. So, like, okay, so far the 3 things you've shown me are like, okay, He's hyped me up for my old Palpatine, like, you know, unlimited power. And it's like, hey guys, if you want to play warrior, then you can get 1% more effective damage. You can roll and kind of take less damage, and you can make all your moves bad in order to make Herald's kind of good. Please, give me something to be excited about,
this
please.
One. Fast metabolism. Yep, that's overleach on...
Okay, now that is nice. Now that is life leech effects are not removed when unreserved. That's like what? Straight up Slayer? Right? That's like an ascendancy node from Slayer. It's not that actually that actually seems insane.
Default leech is removed when an unreserved resource is topped off, and this modifier will make it so that recovery keeps going even when full.
Can I just say thank God for Dreamcore for doing what we all needed, like, and looking at every single thing on the passive tree. Shout out to Dreamcore for, like, actually making the objective correct decision with his time here. Good job, buddy. Jesus.
Like when you're dodging boss abilities. This one is restored to its pre-nerf state from...
Wait, block chances doubled. You take 50% of the damage from block hits. That's good. Wait, that's actually great, right? Am I stupid? Or my 6-hour puzzle box brain is telling me that that's actually good, dude?
Now, by default, blocking a hit prevents all of the damage from that hit and prevents any on-hit effects. Glancing blows will improve your passive chance to block, but make you take half of the damage from those hits. Quick Change Act. 50% increase...
Increased weapon swap speed. I thought weapon swap was instant. I didn't notice any timing change to the weapon swap. I guess it's not. This just proves it's not. Okay. That's actually going to be important, unfortunately, because if I do the Unga Bunga double mace two-hander build where I'm trying to stun people to get the 40% more damage during heavy stunned enemies and I swap into another weapon that actually has like a stat 4 DPS, then I'm going to be using my stun time for the swap, so we actually kind of need this.
Next up, we have repeating explosives, which is right on the outer edge of the tree. Not too...
Don't care! Grenades! You think I'm using a fucking crossbow? Moving on.
Firstly, polymathy, located at the...
Oh, shit. Okay, this is actually good for strength stacking. Look at that. 10% increased attributes, polymathy, for ramping our strength. That actually could be... That makes me think like Blood Mage melee, to be honest. That seems kind of nutty. Jesus. Look at that. Look how fucking huge this is. Okay, so there's a few of those.
Skull Crusher is located on the out...
Here we go, boys. Okay, now we're fucking talking. The first big dick ascendancy that looks like it actually fucking does something. So when we go Titan, we have two major ramping damage, which we're going to go Giant's Blood, so we have two-handed maces, which basically makes you do 140% more damage. You do 30% less, which each of them 70 is 140. Alk has a great breakdown of this. So basically you're doing 40% more damage with the two-handers. Then the Titan has while they're heavy stunned, do 40% more damage. Then you have Skull Crusher, which is 20% more damage against heavy enemy stunned with maces. So I have a feeling it's going to look like you're doing like, mid to Z DPS, and then you stun them, and then just suddenly they get fucking deleted. Exactly, right here. Boom. He's showing you right here. That's what I'm talking about. Crushing blows, you stun them more often, 20% chance for slams to do aftershock, but you have 40% more, plus the 20% more, plus the two-handed weapon shiny blow. I think this is absolutely nutty.
Of 40% more damage on the surprising strength notable.
So he's saving me, because I mean, the Archmage is really like, every time I think I'm out of wanting to go with the mage, they pull me back in. But this right here is what's keeping me wanting to go Unga Bunga. I'm telling you, the maces are going to be disgusting, and until we find out what the monkey do, this might actually be like just our straight up best option for warrior. If the monkey has to do something fucking amazing for me to want to do the other class. I mean, not only does this one have like more damage, but we get the rucksack where we get 20 more inventory slots straight up. I feel like Titan is actually going to be, it's maybe not the most like super hype one, but it's cool. Give me more of these, dude. Give me more Dreamcore videos. Okay, let's do a poll real quick. Lightning Archmage or Unga Bunga Warrior? What do you think? Because I mean, they're trying to pull me back in, dude. Man, it's pretty 50-50. You should definitely start the same way you did in PoE 1. So Z DPS, armor stacking, shield crush. Got it. That is much closer than I was expecting. So it's basically dead ass even. Some people want to see bring Palp back. Some people want to see Warrior Unga Bunga. Man, maybe I'll flip a coin or something, dude. Thanks for watching, boys. 10 a.m. PST. Look at your clock right now. Join the Discord. Probably sit in the Discord, play some OSRs for a bit. And you can follow Twitter if you want for Twitter shit posts. That's about it. Thanks for watching.